Hello everyone, my name is Rahul Kamat, editor B2B division, Worldwide Media at Times Group. Today with us we have an exciting person to talk to, Mr. Sanjaya Mariwala, Chairman and Managing Director, OmniActive Health Technologies and President, HMMI. Thank you Mr. Mariwala for joining us.
Nice to be here, Rahul.
First of all, Mr. Mariwala, thank you for joining us and giving us this chance to interview you.
It's my pleasure, Rahul.
Let's talk about your journey in nutraceutical industry and how the idea of OmniActive Health Technologies, brought up to this fore.
It's an interesting question. I used to run a different company of the family, which was called Cancor Ingredients. We used to do food ingredients from spices and extracts and things like that. Mint, menthol, essential oils. We used to export them to the food companies across the world. And I used to run that based out of Cochin. But over a period of time, I kind of looked at that business and I said two things. One is that business was not created by me, it was inherited by me.
Correct.
Okay. So I said, hey, where is my entrepreneurial stamp in this? I have to create my own entrepreneurial stamp. So I wanted to do something of my own design and vision. And second was, I looked at the food business and it was a good business, but it was like, you are far removed from the consumer.
Right.
And there is very little innovation in that space. There is some innovation, but very little. It's only to make money. It was not to satisfy consumers or to do something interesting as a mission. So I looked at where I can apply that knowledge which I had learned about natural products. And I looked at two areas where natural products could be used. One is personal care. The second was healthcare.
Right.
And I explored the two options and we picked healthcare.
Okay.
Because we felt that healthcare was a new age industry and a lot of new practices will be developed in that process, which means we could also develop new practices. And we decided not to do personal care because personal care was a traditional business which was owned generally by the French companies. And we said they will never let us come to the forefront. Whereas in this healthcare, India is known as healthcare, the pharmaceutical capital of the world. There is no reason why nutraceuticals cannot grow in this environment. And we chose that. And I decided, I think the rest is history.
Right. But the traits of entrepreneurship were already there and you already always wanted to, to choose a different path? Was it?
So it always comes that way. You see, you look at it yourself and you start asking yourself that what is next?
Right.
And every time you do, so 24 years I ran that food ingredients business and I made it successful. But I said, what is next?
Correct.
Something new has to be done.
Correct. So, Mr. Mariwala, as a founder of OmniActive Health Technologies, what its role in nutraceutical industry? If I am not wrong, nutraceutical industry is very niche in India, and you have become the pioneer and taking it to a next level. You have a good market share in US, you have good market share in other countries. So, how are you trying to grow the company in India itself?
So 2-3 things are happening. You see, one is when you look at the nutraceutical market, the advantage here is that the nutraceutical requires a lot of innovative approaches to science, to technologies, and to meeting consumer needs. Okay. So to meet the consumer needs, you need the technologies and you need the science. So how do you bring those together, and how do you bring products arising thereof that can meet the needs or deliver value to a consumer? Okay. Which is what we try to do, and that is what our mission is.
Right. But how this idea of extracting, the medical or the from the flower and it has come to your mind because I guess.
So we did a lot of interesting work in this space. I spent about 2 to 3 years before we got into this business looking at various products in natural space. And we said, what does nature have to provide for healthcare? And we put a group together of one head of marketing and a head of science in a little room, and I gave them a mission. And actually I didn't know this, but all my team members used to call it the NASA room. Okay, that was a secret word in my company. It was called NASA room because it was one of those rooms which had a key lock door and all. Only few people could access it. So they say, something is going on there, some secret stuff, and it's the NASA war room or something like that. Anyhow, the point is these guys came up with a whole series. They connected with a database of the CFTRI and CMAP.
CMAP, right.
And from the CMAP and CFTRI database, they created a whole series of files
Okay.
on hundreds of natural products that had medicinal and various nutritional properties
Okay.
and health properties, and they shared it with me. And then they also did a scan across the world in terms of what is happening. And the largest research came out of Japan and US,
Okay.
where the companies were looking at natural products for nutritional purposes. And we felt that this was going to be the trend of the future.
Right. But you never felt to go into that area where you, instead of just providing the content to the supplement makers, you yourself manufacture the supplements for the Indian market?
So we did both. We did supplements for the Indian market, and we actually created the B2B business. In fact, our larger business is the B2B business internationally. Okay, and we are supplying bulk of it to the US companies that eventually formulate it.
Correct.
But what we do is we do PFIs,
Right.
which is pre-formulated ingredients, and they just punch those into tablets or capsules, or put it into capsules or put it into soft gels and sell it.
Right.
Okay, so we have done that, and that is where the real value lies.
Right.
Okay. What we also did is we branded them,
Right.
and we created a whole branded approach to selling ingredients, which is very unusual in those days. Nobody used to do that.
Right, right.
And today people have started following us, and so that was the best form of flattery. You know, when
Right, right.
when people imitate you, it's the best
Right.
form of flattery.
Right.
Because now everybody is trying to do branded ingredients, but branded became the norm that we followed, and which was a good decision we made, because what brands do is brands instill a degree of confidence in the consumer. When a consumer buys a product, if he looks at a good brand and then he looks at an ingredient also which is branded,
Correct.
his confidence or her confidence goes up significantly.
Absolutely, absolutely. But when you basically when you started this journey of in the nutraceutical industry, you set up this manufacturing units, extracting the active compound from the flowers. How difficult it was, to start with this process, to get the right people on board, to have that initial investments.
Anything new is always difficult to do, but you got to get somewhere, you got to begin somewhere.
Right.
Okay. What we did is we laid out a roadmap and a plan, and we actually planned out the next 3 years what the company is going to look like,
Right.
what kind of people we will need.
Right.
And we started with only 3 or 4 people.
Okay.
We did all the work ourselves.
Okay.
We created products. I used to fly from Bombay to Chennai to find a contract manufacturer who could do things for us.
Okay.
My scientists used to run from Bombay to New York and spend time with the customers to figure out what they are looking for,
looking out for.
and bring it back. So we did all those things, and then we created a blueprint.
Right.
The company will look like this. This is what we will do. This is how the plant will look. This is what the kind of people we need to hire.
Absolutely.
And we felt that the pharma background that India has
Right.
access to a lot of such people.
Right.
So I'll tell you the story. I was in Cochin, and I used to do this out of Cochin. And then I decided to move the headquarters of OmniActive to Bombay, because I felt the ecosystem in Bombay is far more suited to pharma
Right.
than the ecosystem in Cochin.
Kochi.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was a strategic decision. So now let us talk about the overall nutraceutical industry of India, how it is evolving, what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, importantly, and how companies like OmniActive is taking the advantage of this niche market.
So I think India is evolving very well. I believe that India has a huge potential in this space, primarily because one of the advantages we have is we have huge agriculture.
Right.
If you look at the botanical part of the ingredients, we can create lots and lots of products from various products, agriculture raw materials that we grow in this country itself. Second thing is we have the pharma background, which means we have technologies and we have people that understand quality control, they understand research and development, they understand systems and processes, they can get FDA certified plants ready and up and operational. Our engineers are world competent. They make the best plants in the world. And the most important part is India can also do chemical synthesis and create chemical processes. Okay, so I think all the segments we can cater to in this world. Domestically, the market is also going to grow and create. Sooner or later, I think as our consumer spending goes up, our incomes rise. Okay, we have more and more disposable incomes, and with those disposable incomes, our disposable spending will also rise, which means the Indian market will open up as well. So the foreign brands will want to sell here, and Indian brands will be able to sell here as well. I think both these opportunities are very interesting. Third most important point, you see the industry that we are into, maybe in India has started developing it last 15 years,
Right.
but US developed it 40 years ago. Now those 40 years ago when they developed it, they went to China for their raw materials.
Right.
Okay, one of the reasons why China is a big factor for them is that China used create scale very quickly. Today, I think the US is realizing with the recent geopolitical situation that China plus one is very important.
Yes.
So I think now they are talking to India about saying how can we also become a most important source for us.
So it will also give the opportunity. The slice will be cut then. The pie is there, but there will be a.
I think the pie will be cut in a different way. Yeah, so we'll get a larger slice of the pie, and hopefully the markets will continue to grow. So we will continue to grow that pie also for us.
But how? Again, interesting question, Mr. Mariwala. This contract farming.
Yes.
Now, this is the one of the best method to connect with the farmers, to get them on board, and to get what we want from them.
Absolutely.
But obviously, there are challenges too.
No, there are definite challenges. In fact, I'm struggling as a president of HMMI. Okay, I'm trying to convince a lot of members to also do the same thing that we do.
Correct.
Okay, but people are hesitant because there are a lot of challenges in this process.
But what are the challenges? Why they are hesitant?
So let's understand. It took us a long time to perfect that model as well. It took us almost 10 years before we got it right. Okay, we tried many ways of approaching it. We first started with importing seeds and selling the seed to the few farmers. That bombed because the farmers would say, oh, why should we buy it? Okay. We don't know the history behind it. We don't know who you are. You are a new company, nothing. We don't. Okay. Second thing happened is we started saying, okay, let's do a relationship where you grow it and we'll buy it back from you. They said, we don't know what price you'll give us when you buy it back. Okay. We have no risk. What if you don't show up? Okay.
Trust factor was
there. Third thing we did then was to say, okay, we'll give you the price front-ended.
Yeah.
We'll sign a contract with you. Okay. They said, now you're talking. Okay. It makes sense.
Now you're talking business.
Now you're talking business. Now we are willing to try it out. But we'll try it in small plots.
Okay.
So one farmer tried it in one area. Another farmer tried it 20 miles away. Okay. Another farmer tried it 50 miles away. What happened is collecting and all that became a nightmare for us.
Okay.
Now, of course, we went ahead and collected it because we had made the commitment. But it would cost us a lot of money. That's when we figured out how to develop clusters, community. Okay, and how to go to how to use the Indian system of the 5 villages.
Right.
Okay, and panchayats. Absolutely, and it's how to start building that into your community.
Right.
Yeah, and we started with that, and then we succeeded.
So when you started this entire process, how many farmers first joined?
First 2-3 years we had to struggle to get a farmer only. But then when we started getting farmers, when we did the first panchayat, we got only 5 farmers. Okay. But they did it and they demonstrated good results. Okay. The minute they demonstrated good results, next year we had 50 from the same village.
Oh.
And then it multiplied.
So it's like word spreading across the community.
Yeah, it's just 5 people is all we needed to succeed with. Okay. And then it spread like wildfire.
Great model for network marketing, I guess.
It is perfect model for network marketing. Absolutely right.
So as far as R&D is concerned, now when you are into pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, one of the biggest aspects of any pharma activities, it's research and development. Yes. How are you trying to get the best of best people for your R&D and how do you ensure the quality and safety of your products?
So it took us a long time also in this research and development because we were looking for people from both natural product space as well as from pharmaceutical space. And the pharmaceutical people would generally find it very, they were whenever we found the best people, we recruited, we found headhunters to look for them. They would come back and say, everything is good, but they are scared of changing because if they move away from pharmaceuticals into nutraceuticals, will they be able to go back to pharmaceuticals? People will say, hey, this fellow is diluted, etc., etc. Ultimately, we had to sell the whole concept to them very clearly, and we had to pick somebody from that semi-herbal space and bring them on board. Correct. And once nothing succeeds like success. Correct. Once you are successful, then everybody wants to join you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. when we talk about about your financials, your expansions plans, your manufacturing, so if you could tell us about what next for the Omni Technologies, how are you expanding, what are the kind of investment that you would like to do, not only in R&D, but in your manufacturing process too?
So that's an excellent question. We spend a lot of time and effort on improving processes, because you see, one of the advantages of natural products is you can continue to improve it across the whole chain.
Absolutely.
We can improve the yield in the farm.
Absolutely.
We can improve the active content in the fruit or flower.
Right.
We can improve the number of fruits and flowers that grow per tree.
Right.
We can increase the lutein or active zeaxanthin content inside the plant. So that improves the raw material.
Right.
We can improve the processing, or you saw the plant yesterday.
Yes.
We can improve the processing conditions in that plant, thereby continuing to improve the efficiency.
Right.
Once we improve that efficiency, that goes to the Pune plant, where we do isolation and purification. Again, we can continue to improve that efficiency time after time after time. We can change processes, we can employ new technologies, and by employing new technologies, we can reduce costs, we can improve the. So there has been a continuous
process.
It's an ongoing continuous process. So we actually have a team that continues to run that project. And every year they deliver 5 to 7% value improvement.
Oh, nice.
Every year they deliver 5 to 7% value improvement.
But in terms of investment, if you could tell us how much.
So investments, we make fairly large investments. In fact, last year we have expanded capacities across both our plants in Hosur and in Pune. We have streamlined we have redesigned our whole Pune plant, and we have pushed the envelope to its limits to the extent possible. Most pharma plants generate a asset turnover ratio of between 3.5 to 4.
Exactly.
We are running at 11.
Oh, wow. That's a good sign.
So that's but we put a lot of capex in it. So last year we must have spent about 150 crores in capex.
Oh, great. Great. In terms of, it's a purely capex.
Oh, purely capex. This is only for the plant and machinery and equipments. R&D is extra. R&D, clinical studies and all that we spend about.
How much of your
We spend about 8 or 9% of our revenue on R&D.
R&D.
Oh,
that's great.
That's a large percentage by most standards.
Of course, there is a kind of a attached thing between an R&D and skill development. So getting a skilled people for
No. So people are the most important part.
Sector is also one of the biggest challenges you must have faced.
So getting people is the toughest part. Keeping those people motivated is also the second toughest part. But you have to give them good challenges, you have to give them good opportunities, and you have to give them good exposure. Once they get that, then they tend to fly and run on their own. That's what you do.
You are also founder of HMMI. Why this entire association was founded? What was the nature? What is the nature of this the association? If you could.
So invariably, what happens? What our intent of forming the association was very simple. We wanted to create a NASCOM type of body. We wanted to do policy advocacy. We wanted to do consumer education. We wanted to interface with the regulators and create good regulation, which is self-imposed by the industry. It's starting slowly, but it's taking time to get this realization in the minds of most Indian companies. So right now, as most associations are used, it is used to lobby with the government. That's what we are largely doing.
So how many members are already on board?
I think we have at least about 40 to 50 members from the industry, which is maybe about 400 or 500 companies. Out of that, 40 to 50 are already on regular members. About 100 must be our total number of membership.
Mr. Mariwala, how organized this sector is?
So unfortunately, the sector is not very well organized right now. That's one of our challenges. Also because the government has not added enough muscle power to this whole process. We've been demanding a few things from the government. One thing we've been asking them to do is to say that they should give us a recognition as an industry. Nutraceuticals industry has to be recognized, and a department for nutraceuticals has to be created either in Ministry of Health or in Ministry of Food Processing. Wherever you choose to do it, we are happy with it. Today our portfolio is distributed between Commerce, which looks after the export, FSSAI, which regulates, Ministry of Food Processing, which sometimes looks at us and sometimes does not, and Health, who doesn't necessarily care because they said you are too small compared to pharmaceuticals. So we are not getting any MIBAP in the government.
So what is the process? How are you trying to push the government to?
So right now we have done a very interesting push. We have convinced the PSA, the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. He is constituted a task force for Nutraceuticals.
Oh, wow.
And he is running the task force with us as an industry members to take all our issues across to the relevant departments of the government.
Okay.
And he is helping us tremendously.
But nutraceutical industry, obviously, like any pharmaceutical companies or industry, has to go through the regulations.
Yes.
So do we have this sort of a regulation set by the government and
So FSSAI regulates the nutraceutical industry. They have done a good job, and they have started to do even a better job now, because they are starting to focus on talking to us and building up newer regulations. But the bandwidth is limited today in FSSAI. We need to expand that bandwidth by creating this department somewhere.
Okay, just creating the department or having the right people in the department?
So that would be the next stage. First, let's get the department created, then we'll get the right people. You know, things in India happen one stage at a time. Okay.
Okay, that's
The airport gets built first, then the roads get built. Okay.
That's true.
That's how India operates. So we have to learn to deal with this. Yeah.
But Mr. Mariwala, one more, the questions arises, you have a very niche presence in India, but you have a big brand. You are the number one in the global scenario. I mean, do you feel so, there is like, घर में strong नहीं हो लेकिन बाहर में strong हो?
For me, the world is a market, yeah. It is okay. It doesn't make a difference wherever you are. But of course, we would like to be strong in India. But India is growing as a market slowly and steadily.
Correct.
It's growing well, and we will make sure we will capture the leadership position.
So could you please tell us, give us an idea of your international expansion strategy? How are you trying to? Which are the other markets from your primary markets that you are going to?
So US has been our main focus area. We are now looking at Asia, which is growing very well. Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and China, Australia, New Zealand. So we will focus there. We believe slowly and steadily India will grow well. So we are obviously implementing good processes for Indian companies as well, and trying to connect with all the Indian companies wanting to get into brands and finished formulations by which we can support them. And we think that India can also become an export hub. From here to the Middle East, to the Southeast Asian countries. So we should support companies that are wanting to do such business as well.
But since one of the biggest challenge when you talk about exporting your products to these markets is it's not only the regulation but to matching the standards.
Yeah.
So how are you trying to match those standards in your product portfolio?
So we have a very strong regulatory practice in the company. What we have done is we have established a regulatory window in the US, a regulatory window in India, and they work together to look at the globe, whole world. Before you enter any market, we have to study all the standards and regulations of that country. What standards they import with, what standards are permissible, what is not permissible, which ingredients are permissible, not permissible. You draw up a roadmap, and only then you design a product that meets that requirement before you go there.
Talking about you as a visionary leader, nobody must have even thought a few years back that a nutraceutical industry could be such huge, and extraction from a marigold can be so good for your eye health. Okay, so what is your vision as a future for the OmniActive Technologies?
So my whole purpose here in the business is to improve lives of people that are connected with us. Okay, that's what we do. We improve everybody's lives. If you look at our customers, we improve their lives by making it easier for them to sell more. We improve the lives of their consumers by making sure we give the right product which is clinically tested and validated. So it gives you efficacy in your system, in your body. The farmers who are associated with us, their quality of life should improve. Okay. Today as we go through the farms, you will see the benefit of that. How the farmers are gaining the benefit of working with us and closely. Our CSR programs are designed to meet to the local communities wherever we operate, whether it's the factories or whether it's the farming communities. We work with them very closely, and all our CSR spends are only on these two communities.
Nice. On a personal level, now I want to ask you, what drives you to excel in your professional role? Of course, you belong from a family where all are entrepreneurs.
The values that have been instituted, I think, in us from beginning, that we are, one of the questions that people ask me is that there are two important questions in your life, okay. One question is, what do I want to become? And his first question was, why was I born? It's a very important question. Why was I born? Okay, why was I born in this environment? Why was I born in this family? Obviously, because the family is an entrepreneurial family, so I want to become an entrepreneur. So if I have to born to become entrepreneur, I have to do what entrepreneurs do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Bring energy to everything that you bring.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mariwala, for joining us. On this note, we'll have to end this interaction. We can go on and on, but it's such an interactive, conversation that happened after a long time. Thank you so much, Mr. Mariwala, for joining us at this beautiful location and given us the chance to interview you. In fact.
Thank you, Rahul. It was very much interesting for me also interacting with you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks so much.